Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of the Bright Light Show. This is actually part 2 of our interview with Sally Rice. I'm your host, Diane Silvester. And brief summary, I've owned a metaphysical store in a vortex. I've been a healer. I've been a psychic. I've been a hypnotherapist doing past life regressions. I've been a casting director. And my guest, oh my goodness gracious, does she have an interesting resume? You can look for that in the show notes. But we are now going to talk to you. She's a professional psychic, a working psychic of great note in Costa Rica. Available, if you check the notes, you can find out how to reach Sally. But she's also somebody who's here to bring messages onto the planet. And she's one of my friends. I seem to have a lot of friends who have died and come back. And she's my first guest on the show who has had that experience, but not the only one. It's actually a lot more common than you think, and it has a lot of things that go along with it. So I am only an observer, and so I'm going to once again introduce Miss Sally Rice and ask if you could please tell us about your near-death experience.
Okay. Woo woo. Well, okay, let me qualify first that most people think near-death experience is when you actually die, and then your heart starts beating, and then you go to heaven and see the afterlife, and then you get to come back and your heart beats again, and then you're back on planet Earth. That's what I was praying for. I craved a near-death experience. I am a groupie of a woman named Anita Morjani. Do you know Anita Morjani? Anita Morjani is okay. She really had a near-death experience. She was on her deathbed riddled with cancer. The doctors gave her 10 minutes, like literally 10 minutes. Yeah, something like that. She's going to die immediately. Everybody get around, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she did die. She was in coma for 6 days. And she came back after her near-death experience, and spirit said, we're going to cure you. Well, she did. 3 weeks later, she was out of the hospital. She was supposed to die of cancer. She was out of the hospital. Now, all Anita Marjani does is travel around the world talking to people about spirit, God, and heaven. I'm like, damn, I want an Anita Marjani experience. I want to die like her so I can come back, because if I die and I come back, everybody's going to listen to me when I talk about God, and I'll have credibility because I will have died, and that will make them listen to me. So I was walking around my home.
I love you.
No, I swear to God, I was walking around my home in the morning. I forget the day. Oh, I should know. December 15th. Hello. Walking around my apartment in Costa Rica in the morning, wishing for an Anita Morjani spirit. It's like, damn, I have so many things to talk to people about God, and yet I don't have any credit. Why would they listen to me? Why can't I just die and then I'll come back and everyone will listen to me? That's what I was thinking about. And I remember feeling lightheaded. I remember feeling like dizzy with this desire to die. And I'm like, oh, I think you can work today. I was going to write part of my book because I'm writing a book. Anyway, so I'm like, you know what, Sally, just forget it. Just walk away. So I decided to go to the beach. So I packed my bags, got to go to the beach. However, I had a psychic reading that afternoon at 4 o'clock. So I had time to go to the beach, come back for my 4 o'clock reading. So I went to the beach, had a nice day, came back. Try to go into my apartment. Now, I lived in a second-story building, big high rise next to the beach in Costa Rica. Running home after the beach, felt refreshed, all is well, no problem. Going into my reading, the guard at the gate was supposed to have the key to get into the condominium, but he didn't. I'm like, damn, you don't have the key? And then I'm like, okay, well, what about the code? Because there's a little code. You can punch in a code. Oh, sorry, change the guard. I don't have the new code. Damn, no way to get into my apartment. I got a reading in 15 minutes. I got to get in. Well, one of my other careers that I did when I first came to Costa Rica is I opened up a rock climbing company, and I led rock climbing tours for 2 years in Costa Rica, because with my son, we led rock climbing tours, and I'm a professional rock climber. So I couldn't get into my building. So since I'm a professional rock climber, I thought, oh, I'll just scale the building. So I started scaling the outside of the building, climbing up to get into my condo on the 2nd floor because I had a reading. I am in the middle of the climb. I'm now on the second story balcony over the driveway, concrete down below me. I'm in my bathing suit barefoot, by the way. So I'm climbing down along these columns, and spirit, always in my left ear, says, and we have it on tape because the whole accident was videotaped, okay, because for security cameras. So I'm climbing, scaling the outside of the building, second story, and spirit yells in my ear, not yells, whispers, "Get ready, you're about to fall, prepare to jump." I'm like, and you can hear me, you see me pause, listen to spirit, and I go, oh, okay. So I knew I was about to fall. So instead of falling backwards on my head and killing myself instantly, I remembered my dance training because I have one of my degrees is in dance. So I thought, okay, I'll just do a nice land. So I prepared myself to jump 2 stories off the balcony like this. And I did. Down I went. Quick, 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 quick. All the bones in my body, broke. So I broke 17 bones, both my legs, my arm, my hip, my eyebrow, my whole eyelid was ripped off on the pavement. I was there for 2 hours, unconscious, don't know what happened. Then I went to the hospital. I have no memory for the first 2 weeks. Okay. Like somehow, anyway. So that was that. So I didn't get my wish because I didn't die, but, I've messed my whole body up. I really wanted to see spirit God after that, but I didn't. What I got was the best soul contracted life experience I've ever had in that fall, because in that accident, I was awakened to other gifts and talents that I have cultivated since then. It did not come in the form exactly of a near-death experience, but I did nearly die that day. The only thing is it wasn't quite the way I had envisioned it, because all the doctors said, first of all, you should be in a wheelchair at the very least. When
Oh, could you stand up and do a pirouette real quick? Because I want people to see what condition you're in right now.
At the very least, I should have been paralyzed. But more importantly, every doctor said I should be dead. Like, should have died. But because I fell with that sort of impact from a second story and you fall, the reverberation should have cracked my spine. Broke all the other bones, but my spine was perfect. So I'm like, oh, is that what you did? So I got my wish. I died, kind of. But then I didn't die. But I want to say one more thing. This is most important. I had health insurance, okay? I had health insurance that I bought in July, 6 months before my fall. I was in buying my health insurance. The health insurance was supposed to expire on December 14th. I was in there writing my contract to sign my health insurance. Spirit whispered in my ear in July beforehand. They said, extend it to the end of the year. I'm like, okay, because I always do what I'm told. So I asked the insurance agent, how much would it be to extend it to the end of December? He said, another $18. I said, extend it. My accident happened on the 15th of December, the day after my insurance was to have expired. But Spirit told me, extend it, because obviously it was in my soul contract. I was supposed to fall. And that morning when I was wishing for my Anita Marjani experience, I was feeling into my near-death experience that was on the horizon. I just misinterpreted it. You see, so it was all meant to be. Since my accident, I never dyed my hair again, and I never cut my hair. So I since it was the day of my rebirth when I died and came back, even though I broke all my bones, but didn't technically die, but I kind of died because I should have been dead. But the lessons I learned from it were even more valuable. So I consider it a happy time.
Beautiful. I'm gonna ask you a quick question. What are these new gifts?
Oh my God. Well, it's kind of, it has to do with my readings. Like just the information that's coming through is way more specific, names, dates. Just before this interview with you right now, I had a client. This is a perfect example. So stranger, and I'm like, she's calling me because she's having problems with her boyfriend, normal stuff. But Spirit's going like, Libra, Scorpio. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know your chart and I don't know his chart, but your spirit team is yelling out Libra, Scorpio, and all the things that go with that. Well, she goes, ha, 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 ha. She goes, I'm a Libra, he's a Scorpio. So that's just one little tiny example of how they just are feeding me like, okay. And I just listen and report the news. But the readings have been much more, I guess, detailed, profound, and I just love the work. I don't care about doing anything else, quite
So
honestly.
that is exactly what my experience is, talking to all the different people who have had a near death, or you're in a different category, but near death sort of kind of maybe in specific, no, but yes. But it seems like there is this increase between if you will, becoming more activated, having a greater ability to download information at a greater capacity. I mean, I've
Definitely,
talked to quite a few
100%.
people that have had actual near-death experiences, and they weren't spiritual at all before. I mean, you're way, like I said, you were tuned in, tapped in, turned on when you came in. And then you had that experience, because that is the ride that a lot of my good friends have had that are professional psychics, is that they have this experience where nobody will listen to them, and the frustration, or having spirits from a very young age speak to them. I mean, a mediumship does run in my family too. I personally don't have mediumship in specific. I have other abilities, other gifts, but not to talk specifically to the dead. Do you want to just like open that up, since we've got a few minutes, and talk about
Yes. Yeah,
what it means to talk to the other side?
right. Because I think perhaps maybe my mediumship, I don't know what is stronger. But psychic mediumship work is goes hand in, for me, when I'm doing readings, they overlap. So it's not psychic, medium going together, marrying the two. I don't know what it is not to have it. That's the thing, because I see spirits all the time, human spirits, but also nature spirits. Trees talk to us, the plants, the flowers, they have consciousness. When you can decide to tap in, but see, here's the thing. The greatest challenge that people have tapping into their natural abilities is getting over the brain, because we are locked into the mental landscape of reductive materialism mentality, which says I must see it to believe it. And this idea of I need proof in the physical realm, but spirit doesn't exist in the physical realm. So that reductive materialist mentality is what really is the prison bar, keeping people from their natural abilities. So when we can
Yeah.
shut the brain down and say, you know what, I'm looking for the signs outside of this physical realm, I don't need that, opens the gate, opens the window, takes those bars away from a limited perspective to then invite spirit in. Spirit would love to talk to everybody.
Okay, okay,
They're
okay.
available.
Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Just because we're trying to keep the show
Sure.
to a certain length. No, no, no. I could keep you talking for 6 hours. So let's give tips and tricks, maybe to somebody who's just on the path, just going, well, I want to do that. How do I start? What would you say to someone who says, I want this, but how do I begin?
Okay. I wanting it is that's the first and most important step. Wanting it, being open to it, and then remembering too that the spirit world does not respond or is not as acceptable when we are using our brain. Okay. And what does that mean? Because we can drift into another space, another dimensional space, which is much more accessible for spirit. Let me give you an example. When you're doing mindless things like vacuuming, like dusting your furniture, like driving on the freeway. Have you ever driven down the road and you kind of space out? Oh my God, I missed my exit. Okay. Or you're taking a shower and you're just la, 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 la. So I'm not really doing anything, but I'm active. Chop wood, carry water. Okay. So when we are in that sort of mindless state, that's when we're most receptive to receiving. So when you can make a prayer, today, Spirit, I'd like to connect with you. Please show yourself. I am available. Please know I am open to receiving messages. Then you go about your way doing mundane things and wait for the connection. If, on the other hand, you approach your work connecting to spirit with this mental mind game. Okay, here I am. I want my spirit guides to come. Show me yourself. Show me yourself. I'm waiting. Well, where are you? Okay, that's mental. That's ego. That's being stuck in the physical realm because you're now demanding something with your brain, not with your heart. So therefore, you're going to block it. That's why when people lose their loved ones and they're like, I want a connection. I want to see the sign that he's there or she's there. And I'm like, well, I see you getting mad at him because he's not speaking to you. Yeah, well, I told him he needs to show himself. Well, that's not how you connect because that's ego. Where are you? Show yourself. No, you need to get out of your head, get out of this realm that you're in right now, step aside, kind of like that place you are just before you fall asleep. 4 a.m. is a great time. Spirit loves that. 4 to 5 in the morning, you're kind of groggy, you're kind of in and out. Great time for spirit to connect. People say, oh yeah, at 4 a.m, something happened. Why? Because you're available. You're available. You're not clouded with this, oh, I got to go to my meeting or the car needs washing or, something like that. So the key to connecting to the realm of spirit is letting go of your ego mind, knowing the connection to spirit does not come from the brain. It comes from a space different. When I hear spirit talk, it's not a voice in my head. It's out here. The space of spirit is outside of me, but I can't see it with these eyes. I am tapping into another dimension that's happening on top of this one simultaneously, and I am aware of that, and therefore I am receptive to it, if that helps.
Amen. Give it up for Sally Rice. That was, sweetheart, you just need your own show. You need to start recording. You just do. Just turn the camera on and start talking. Seriously, you have a lot to share and a lot to give the world. And thank you for doing your work, because heavy respect for people doing the work. It is the road not traveled. And you and I have always been weirdos, and we love being weirdos, but it's good to be a weirdo. Weird is actually fated, and it is fated to be more sensitive in a world, like I call it a violin and a drum world. So it does take a little courage to be a violin in a drum world.
Yeah.
And you're doing it so beautifully, and you articulate yourself so well. So well, and you're helping a lot of people. One by one, everybody gets to wake up. So thank you for being guest number 2 and 3.
Thank
We have
you.
1 and 2. I have to
Mwah.
figure out how to edit the last one we did when I didn't know how to turn on the camera. So thank you. Thank you. And once again, I'm Diane Silvester. You've been listening to The Bright Light Show. My guest, Sally Rice. Her bio will be in the show notes, and different ways that you can contact her. Also, I want to invite you to my website, soulcentered.com, which, as we are all spiritual beings, I still need to survive in 3D. So your support is greatly appreciated at soulcentered.com. And please like and subscribe this channel, and we'll be bringing you back at some point, my friend. So thank you for your time, my friend.
Thank you, Diane.
Go wake up the world, man. Go wake it up. You're ready. You got the torch in your hand, and you're going forward. Thank you for being you. Great smile. Doesn't she have a great smile?
My darling.
I love you.
Come on.
Mwah.
The smile.
Bye.
Your smile. Bye, honey.